Tonight's headlines are brought to you by McDonald's.
Good evening, Commonwealth, and thanks for watching the Channel 2 News. I'm Sally Lemus. Let's take a look at tonight's top stories. The hunt for a new utilities director may be more aggressive this time around. Let's find out why. Also tonight, a familiar face returns to MVA. And lawmakers find out what makes the power bill go high. In sports, wishing our girls a great game in Thailand. Stay with us, these stories and more are next up on the Channel 2 News.
What's the move? Kinda wild out. Catch a groove. She said, where you going? What's the move? Kinda wild out. Catch a groove. What's the move?
Mickey D's McCrispy. Formerly known as the Crispy Chicken Sandwich, now has some respect on his name. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. Real talk. The Spicy Crispy Chicken Sandwich should have been named Spicy McCrispy from jump. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Half a day to the WAMI and good evening, Commonwealth. Today is Wednesday, April 26, 2023. On Monday, the acting utilities director was fired. And today, we are told that his replacement has decided to quit. Dallas MPV was terminated Monday as the acting executive director for the Commonwealth Utilities Corporation. PV took over the job post from Gary Camacho after Camacho resigned following the gubernatorial election. Board Chair Janice Tenorio, in a written statement, said that PV exhibited dishonesty and a lack of candor when he first applied as deputy director for the electric power systems. That apparently includes PV not including his most recent job on his application paperwork, a job that he was terminated from and is under investigation. PV began work in November of 2022. A number of CUC personnel called him an effective, no-nonsense leader. Last week, CUC issued disconnection notices to several delinquent government accounts, including the Commonwealth Healthcare Center. According to the Pensacola News Journal, PV was accused of falsifying travel documents and was required to repay over $20,000 to Ortloff Engineers, one of his previous employers, and was charged with a felony for a private matter that happened in 2009 in Texas. This is him answering questions about it in a video posted to Facebook last year.
In 2009, I was living in Midland, Texas. I was traveling international as a businessman, of course. I came home one day unexpectedly, decided to go and pick my daughter up from school, my daughter was 10 years old at the time. As I pulled up onto the school, there was a group of Hispanics that were trying to grab not only my daughter, who was 10 years old, but her friend that they were walking home from school. I got out of my truck and went with an axe handle and started beating on them to get my daughters away from them, my daughter and her friend. I put my daughter in the car, her friend in the car, and then we trailed those gentlemen back to their house. They were all living in one house together. I pulled up into the yard, I had called the police, but then I got out of my truck to make sure they weren't going to do that anymore, and I started beating both them, and I destroyed a lot of the furniture and windows in their house. I was eventually arrested, but I turned myself in because I knew it was going to happen. It cost me restitution, I think about $22,000, but I would do it again because that's my family and that's my daughter. I didn't spend any time in jail while traveling. At one point, I think I had overstayed my time being gone internationally because the state allowed me to continue to work and travel. And I think I had a parole violation that was eventually released. And then I was released early because I had paid the restitution and the case was done away with.
And how long ago was this?
2009, I believe it was.
I see. And over in Texas, what is the charge that was brought against you for that?
It was
a theft charge?
Yes, it was a felony theft because in Texas, when you destroy somebody's property, that's stealing or taking it from them. And so, of course, I pled guilty because I did destroy both their car and their house.
Okay, well, thank you for clearing that up for us.
Peavy was fired from his last job in August of 2022 after the utility board he was working for announced it was investigating him after residents raised alarms about his background. We are told today that Crichton Verge, who took over as the acting executive director this week, has submitted his resignation letter to board chairwoman Tenorio today. His resignation will be effective 4:30 p.m. tomorrow. KSPN spoke with Tenorio this afternoon, and she said all she can say at this time is no comment. She said the board is in recess and will resume meeting tomorrow morning. The Marianas Visitors Authority reportedly has a new managing director with a familiar face. Chris Concepcion will begin duties at the Marianas Visitors Authority next week. Concepcion, who recently accompanied the governor to Tokyo for meetings with United Airlines and Japanese travel agents, was chosen to lead MVA and help in the rebuild of the tourism industry. Concepcion brings with him both airline and tourism experience. He was instrumental in helping to bring in Skymark Airlines, which launched service to the NMI in 2019. It will be Concepcion's second stint at MVA. He had the job previously before leaving MVA under pressure from former Governor Ralph Torres. The post has been vacant since last fall when Priscilla Iacopo resigned. As of late, Concepcion has been leading the charge in Garapan, working with a $12 million EDA grant to revitalize the Central Tourism District. Concepcion also previously worked for Delta Airlines. Concepcion will start work at MVA on May the 1st. Judy Torres will remain the deputy director. When government offices don't pay their power and water bill, who foots the bill? Lawmakers make a surprising discovery.
Because it is not fair for the government to be getting away with not paying their bills while somebody that owes $10 on their utility bills to be cut right away.
Representative Vincent O'Don, who chairs the House Committee on Public Utilities, Transportation, and Communications, is calling upon government departments and agencies to pay their utility bill. In a press conference on Tuesday, the committee presented findings from an OPA report disclosing that the CNMI government's unpaid utility balance stands at a whopping $88 million. Some of the unpaid balances goes all the way back to 2019. According to O'Don, the history of CUC has had a lot of political interference, which has led to unsuccessfully collecting money owed, further leading into a high fuel adjustment charge rate or FAC rate.
The FAC rate does not just include the fuel cost, right? Granted that when CUC operates, fuel is its greatest expense, right? But included in that FAC rate is manpower. Included in that FAC rate is the operations and maintenance costs. Included in that FAC rate is the repairs. Included in that FAC rate is the debt that CUC owes, right? What's also included in that FAC rate is the credit that is owed to CUC, right? The other one are stipulated orders 1 and 2 that CUC has to pay at the tune of $36 million.
Utility consumers in the past have questioned why the cost of FAC rate is higher than their electric usage.
The people must understand, why is your FAC rate so high? A lot of it has to do with the debt that or the collections that CUC are still trying to collect.
The hospital, however, holds the largest unpaid balance amount of $53.6 million.
That one agency is jeopardizing everything else at the tune of $53 million. This is without penalty.
Representative Manny Costro points out that most government departments don't even include a budget for their utility bill.
If you notice, some of the budget requests and submissions that are brought to the legislature, one thing that you don't see is utilities. And to all the departments out there, I think it's in our best interest if each department starts tracking and budgeting for their utilities, because it can't just be all under the governor's office.
The committee has proposed legislation that would ensure CUC stays as an independent public agency with the legal and political independence to perform as a non-subsidized autonomous corporation.
One of the things that we will be introducing is the legislative initiative to amend the Constitution to ensure that any autonomous agency has the right and the ability to be able to hire their own legal counsel instead of hiring the Attorney General. It's a conflict of interest when you have one government agency and another government agency represented by the Attorney General. Granted that they might say that there's no conflict of interest, but history has shown otherwise.
Another legislation in the works would remove political interference between CUC and the government.
We're going to introduce a legislation where the commissioners are an elected position to regulate PUC, just like Juan does or anybody else in the state. And the reason why that is so that we can minimize, hopefully potentially eliminate the interference of the executive or legislative branch. By having an independent commissioners to regulate, the utility rate structure, I think you will have a more stable and a stronger utility that will be able to go out and collect what is owed.
A revised budget bill that will cover operation and personnel costs for the next 5 months is now signed into law. Governor Arnold Palacios signed into law on Tuesday a revised budget of $116 million for the remaining fiscal year. Palacios says a revised budget was necessary to keep the Commonwealth government functional and continue essential service to the community, given that the Community Disaster Loan and the American Rescue Plan Act funds were overspent and overcommitted.
But I am very, very happy to be signing this revised budget. As you know, we had to do it. And this is part of the cost containment and actually setting aside resources to the priorities that we all have come to agree on. And again, on behalf of the administration, the Lieutenant Governor, and myself, we want to thank you all for all the hard work that everybody has put in.
The budget revision process took over a month with much deliberations between lawmakers, the Secretary of Finance, and the Special Assistant for Office of Management and Budget, Senate President Edith Dillon Guerrero.
I'm just happy to be here to witness the signage of the budget so that we could move forward and start addressing the incoming FY24 budget.
House Speaker Edmund Villagomez, for his part, says working together is always progress. And despite some contraries between the House and Senate, Villagomez says the process was rather smooth.
I know there were difficult decisions to be made, but given the situation, those decisions needed to be made, and Again, I just want to thank everyone.
According to Palacios, he, along with Lieutenant Governor David Apatang, OMB Special Assistant Virginia Villagomez, Finance Chief Tracy Narita, and Assistant Attorney General Lilian Tenorio, reviewed the legislature's final product over the weekend. He says the numbers did not change, but there were some administrative provisions that were line item vetoed.
There is significant amount, but I don't believe the significance rise to the point where it's going to hold us back. It's a lot of some of them are redundant verbiage that we need, and there is also several that we believe were not good policy, and so that's something that we still have to, of course, have the legislature review and react to it.
The governor did veto language that would suspend the proportionate reduction clause.
I believe that the legislature has done this, tried to do this in the past, submitted this proposal in the past where the legislative branch and the judicial branch are immune to any proportionate cut. And to me, that's not equitable. Everybody has to share the burden and share the price. And so that was just a policy decision on our part to the legislature.
Palacios says if the government continued on the original budget, it would have ended in a fiscal disaster with substantial operating deficit. He says since they had taken office, they had no choice but to tighten the fiscal reins, cancel contracts, and reduce work hours. The CNMI Supreme Court appoints a judge to preside over the former governor's criminal case. Guam Superior Court Judge Arthur Barcenas has been appointed to sit on the Commonwealth Superior Court and preside over the case of former Governor Ralph Torres. Torres is charged with misconduct in public office, theft, and contempt. The governor has pleaded not guilty and is expected to face a jury this coming July. The order issued by Chief Justice Alexandro Castro comes after the recusal of Judge Pro Tem Alberto Tolentino, who is facing some health issues. Tolentino was appointed in April of last year after all 5 sitting judges recused themselves from the case. Parties shall notify the court clerk in writing no later than 10 days of any good cause or reason why Judge Barcenas should not serve as judge pro tempore. The former governor is being represented by attorneys Viola Alipudu, Victorina Torres, Matthew Hawley, and Anthony Uggan. Chief Solicitor Robert Glass Jr. and Special Prosecutor James Kingman of Texas represent the government. According to the Guam Supreme Court's website, Barcenas has served as judge in the Guam Superior Court since 2005. He currently presides over general jurisdiction cases and family violence court. Coming up, the NMI may get a high-tech upgrade soon. Stay tuned.
Premium office space is available now at the Hermosa Vista Business Park on Capitol Hill. Features include dedicated parking, fast internet, backup power, good water, and natural light throughout to go along with the very best views on Saipan. So don't settle for space when you can get peace and peace of mind. Call Hermosa Vista today at 670-483-4750 or email hvsaipan@gmail.com. Green sea turtles and hawksbill turtles call the Mariana Islands home. They're an important part of the marine ecosystem. They are under threat, and they are protected under CNMI law. Keep plastic out of the ocean. Keep vehicles off the beach. Use the Sea Turtle Stranding Hotline if you see poaching activities or if you see a turtle in trouble. Call 287-8537 and save a turtle.
All workers have the right to a safe workplace. Employers must provide a workplace that is free from recognized hazards and comply with applicable OSHA standards, including proper reporting of injuries. Training needs to be done in a language and vocabulary employees can understand, and an OSHA information poster must be displayed prominently in the workplace. Workers, you have the right to raise a safety or health concern with your employer or OSHA without being retaliated against, and request an OSHA consultation of your workplace if you believe there are unsafe or unhealthy conditions. OSHA can help. Free assistance to identify and correct hazards is available to small and medium-sized employers without citation or penalty. So look out, speak up, and stay safe. Job safety and health, it's not only good practice, it's the law. Check out OSHA.gov or call 664-3154 or 3155.
Welcome back to the Channel 2 News. The island is undergoing several road construction projects, which may cause some frustration to drivers. But one resident is asking everyone to drive safe and slow no matter where. Residents of Garapan are asking drivers to slow down and drive safe, especially in the residential area. Norlin Cabrera lives right beside the NMI Museum, and the road outside her house is being used as an alternate route from Beach Road to Middle Road. She says since cars have been directed to take that way, it's been troubling for her and her family.
It's so dangerous for the kids because we have kids here that walking across, going to the bus stop.
Cabrera says some cars drive over 10 miles per hour.
It's very dangerous for my kids and the dogs also that passing by here, you know. So when the car's also backing up, it's so dangerous. Sometimes you can't see because it's blind spot.
According to the Department of Public Safety, motorists are advised to drive at least 5 to 10 miles per hour inside the residential areas. Cabrera says she has tried to reach out to lawmakers from her precinct but has been unsuccessful. Her hope is to have at least officials put more road traffic safety signs.
I don't want to wait that something happen before I report it.
KSPN reached out to Public Works Secretary Ray Yumo for comment on the matter this afternoon. According to Yumo, he has just finished meetings with staff and says, quote, traffic section will communicate with the contractor to have signs put up to warn drivers to slow down. In addition, they will assess if the road does not have speed bumps and may install temporary ones. Paving should be done within 2 weeks and traffic will return back to normal absent the traffic lights that are still to be installed, unquote. With a great amount of funds coming into the NMI to improve broadband services, the governor establishes the Broadband Policy and Development Program. The Commonwealth is expecting to receive $25 million to build infrastructure and increase adoption of high-speed internet. This funding comes from the U.S. Department of Commerce Broadband Equity, Access, and Deployment Program, which is under the Bipartisan Infrastructure Law. With that, Governor Arnold Palacios has created a broadband policy and development within the office of the governor. He has appointed Glenn Hunter as the special assistant.
We have to put together a plan in several months. And Glenn has done this for parts of Micronesia already. In fact, he's gotten grants for underserved and unserved communities. So that's where the real focal point of that is.
In an executive directive issued on Friday, the governor says the NMI lags behind most of the United States in its internet infrastructure and broadband technology. The funding will help to support deploying or upgrading internet in unserved or underserved areas, installing internet and Wi-Fi in multi-unit residential buildings, and improving workforce development programs and vocational trainings.
All right, folks, don't go anywhere. We have sports up next.
Need a new phone? Trade in now and get up to $500 off our best 5G devices. Trade in your older phone in any condition and step up to better savings and speeds only our 5G network can provide. Check out our website and catch up on the best mobile experience. Trade in now. Docomo Pacific. Better together.
Premium office space is available now at the Hermosa Vista Business Park on Capitol Hill. Features include dedicated parking, fast internet, backup power, good water, and natural light throughout to go along with the very best views on Saipan. So don't settle for space when you can get peace and peace of mind. Call Hermosa Vista today at 670-483-4750 or email hvsaipan@gmail.com. Hey, golfers, come north and practice your game at the Marianas Driving Range. New Year's local specials. 10-piece coupon books available for just $60. That's a $10 savings. Want to get really good? Come work on your swing every day for just $99 per month. It's our practice pass and you're going to love it. Grab your passes and go straight to the range. You can social distance and chip all at the same time and the views are free. Reserve now at marianastrekking.com. You can pay online, open 7 days a week.
Buenas sports fans.
Our NMI U17 girls soccer team is in Thailand for a game. Let's check it out.
20 NMI young women are in Thailand preparing for tonight's match against Thailand in the first round of the AFC Women's Cup. Girls left yesterday from Saipan International, connected in Guam, then the Philippines, and finally to Thailand.
I feel honored. This is actually my first time actually traveling internationally, but I'm gonna do my best and I'm excited and really proud to represent my island.
This is her first trip internationally, so, and without us. I mean, like Guam is closer, but Thailand is even further, so I'm really excited for her and nervous at that. As a mom, I'm nervous.
Tonight's game is against the host country, and then on April 28th, the women will play Malaysia.
Honestly, it takes a lot of, just like hard work, and it's not just like individual work too, it's like teamwork. Like you all have to work together to make this possible, and you just stay determined and, you don't give up, you keep trying.
I'm so excited for her and, good luck. Yeah, bye.
And how do you feel going down to Thailand?
I'm excited. It's the first time, so.
The winner of the first round in the 3-team tournament of the AFC Women's Cup will advance to the next round.
It takes a lot of hard work and time and effort to get better in the sport, and you really need to focus when you're practicing.
Coach Koo and Coach Jersh are leading the charge.
In our group is Malaysia and Thailand. These are the top teams in Asia that will be competing. So we'll do our best for the island and for our families.
I feel like the team is ready, and we've been training for this and working hard. So I hope our team is ready.
Just play your heart out.
Hi, I'm Dre, one of the personal trainers here at Goat's Gym, and today we're going to be going over the leg press. Now I have here with me is Vince, and he's going to show you how to execute it properly in 2 different ways. A common mistake that you'll often see is leaving your hands free, either up here or on your lap. I strongly recommend you holding onto the sled and create that tension in the upper body, which then allows you to create more range of motion. So with his current foot placement, he was feeling it on his legs, his quads. Now with a simple adjustment by placing his foot a little higher on the platform and his toes pointed out slightly, he's going to transfer that tension, which was previously on his legs, onto his hamstrings and glutes. Again, he's gonna grab onto the sled, creating that bracing effect up here.
And for your KSPN weather report, tonight partly cloudy with isolated showers, east wind 15 to 20 miles per hour, lows around 78 with a 20% chance of showers. Tomorrow breezy, partly cloudy with isolated showers, east wind 20 to 25 miles per hour, highs around 87 with again a 20% chance of showers. Your marine forecast, moderate to fresh trade winds expected through the week. Some strong gusts possible, especially Friday into the weekend. The remnants of Samvu are to pass south of the Marianas. Combined seas of 5 to 7 feet. Hazardous sea conditions possible this weekend. High tide at 10:15 a.m., low tide 6:21 p.m., sunrise at 5:56 a.m., and the sunset you can catch that at 6:33 p.m. And there you have it. That is your midweek edition of the news, sports, and weather here in the Marianas. As always, thank you so much for tuning in to the Channel 2 News. We hope you have a great night, and we'll see you back here on Friday with more.